Okay, looks like we're getting started already. We need to go over now types of relations. So we've been over domain and range, and you should have a pretty good idea by now that the domain of a function is all values of x, and the range of a function is all values of y in any given function, okay? So what we're going to talk about now is we're going to talk about types of relations. So up until now, we've been using the word function to talk about. Up until now, we've been talking about functions, okay? And functions is one kind of a relation, okay? A relation is just any relationship between numbers, okay? Now, the simplest type of function that we've been talking about is a line. So that's y equals mx plus c. That's a function. There are other kinds of relations. So let's go ahead and start with the 1 to 1. 1 to 1. Simply stated, 1 to 1 means that for every value of y, or I should start actually with it, for every value of x, there is one and only one. Why did I cross that? Only one value of y. Okay? Simple enough. That is most certainly our line. So that's a one-to-one function. Okay? Our many-to-one functions says that there is more than one x value for any y value. So let me back up. So what I need to talk about first is one to many. And with one to many, for any x value, there is more than one y value. Okay, and in the book they show you something that looks like this. Okay, at this point, I've got, let's say this is x is equal to 2. I've got 2 points of y that satisfy that value of x. So this is a one to many. That's really an ugly x. So I'm going to try and erase it. But my thing's working slowly. Okay. So for this one, what this means is that for any value there is more than one y value. If x is equal to 2 in this graph, there's 2 values of y. Okay, so this is a one-to-many relation. Next kind is many-to-one. And this is for more. There is more than one x value for any y value. But for any x value, there is only one y value. Okay? So the example that, okay, so let me go back here and I'll say x can have x only corresponds to one y value, but one y value might correspond to x1 or x2, okay, in a many-to-one. And the example here is a parabola, okay. So here it still satisfies, it still says many-to-one because I've only got, for any x value, there's only one y value, but for every y value, there might be 2 values of x. And this is a parabola, and what that means is that, I've got my x along here. Now let's think about it. Of course, these are my y values, and if I drew a horizontal line through here, I would see that, let's say this is y is equal to 3. Y is equal to 3 is going to have 2 values, okay? Now, parabola is something like y is equal to x squared. That's the most simple kind of parabola, okay? And again, this is going to be this is going to have two values of x, okay? So many to one means that for every x value, there's only one y value, but for every y value, there can be more than one x value, okay? And then the last kind is many to many. Okay? And what that says is that there is more than one x value for any y value and vice versa. So that means an x value might be assigned value y1, it can also be assigned y2, and so forth. Okay? And the same thing with the y value, it can be x1 or x2 or x3. Okay? And the example given in the book is a circle, where on any x value, so this is my x-axis, I'm going to have one value and two values of y, but vice versa for any value of y. So let's say this is y is equal to 3. This would be, say, x is equal to 4. I'm going to have more than one here, and I'm going to have more than one here. And this is a circle, okay? So those are our different kinds of relations. Now, the two that we've been talking about the most, what we've been talking about for most of the time, what you've dealt with only up until this point, are functions. Functions can be viewed something like this. I put in a value of x into my function machine. So this is a function machine, and I get out a value of y. Okay? Functions have an input and they have an output. All right? But functions, for it to be a function, in order for it to be a function, functions only have one value of x for every value of y. Okay? That is the important part. So there's two kinds of relations that we just talked about that satisfy that. All right? One-to-one and many-to-one. So 1 to 1 and many-to-one both satisfy that criteria, so they're both called functions. Okay? Easiest way to check for a function is on the graph is to do the vertical line test. And what that means is that, just as we just said, there can be only one value of x for every value of y. That means you draw a vertical line through the function to see, and if this was my function, obviously this would be a function because it's a line, but it only intersects, my vertical line only intersects once. Okay? Something like this would also pass because that's a parabola, but drawing a vertical line, I only intersect with my function once. However, I did already show you an example. If I had a sideways parabola, if I drew a line through there vertically, I would intersect twice. Okay, so this is not a function. This is called the vertical line test. Okay, I'm going to have to stop that there and redo another video.